Welcome to Grit on the Rocks podcast, where we mix up laughter, wisdom, and a splash of sometimes whiskey to tackle on life's toughest but funniest topics. I'm your host, David, and today we're diving into the art of keeping your marriage, spicy, just keep that spark going, keeping it happy and downright. We need happiness and we need laughter. So yeah, keeping also the laughter. Whether you've been married 5 years or whether you've been married 50 years, this episode is packed with some tips that'll have you maybe laughing, loving, and maybe even taking a bath together. Don't worry, this is PG. Well, mostly. But let's get into it.
This podcast is a Buenos Diaz media production.
This is the Grit on the Rocks podcast, where raw conversations meet smooth sips. Pull up a chair, pour your favorite drink, puff on your favorite cigar, and join us as we dive into the convos that matter. No scripts, no barriers, just unfiltered truth served straight up. Cheers to the real ones out there. Salud.
So first I want to clarify, no, this is not marriage counseling podcast. But as a space for men, even though, I was looking at our analytics and funny thing, I saw that our audience has a huge percentage of female listeners, which I thought it was awesome. I thought it's pretty cool that even though this is quote unquote, right, a man space, even though I have said it's for everyone, men and women alike, but we basically touch on topics that affect men, circulating men, unmanly shit, right, if you want to say it that way. We have our Friday Fumas, or we have our cigar talk sometimes. And it's not necessarily a space where women gravitate to, but I thought it was pretty freaking awesome that a large part of our audience is women. So thank you and welcome. And I just want to encourage you all to like, share, and comment. Okay. So today we'll be going down a list of things that couples can do for each other in hopes of keeping that fire burning. Granted, let me clarify. This is not me. This is, research, the internet. So if it's on the internet, it must be true. I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought it was cool to talk about. So here it is. I am flying solo today, so I wanted to get a topic that was light and didn't necessarily need too much back and forth amongst hosts. So, we'll be talking on the right burning hot in your relationship. This is originally geared towards giving women advice, right? Originally, the piece that I found and broke it apart, it was geared towards women, but I want to switch it up a bit and make it to fit either men or women. And as usual, we have some whiskey bar wisdom. We have some hero of the day. So let's jump in, my friends. You are listening to Grit on the Rocks podcast, a Buenos Diaz media production.
The views and opinions expressed by the host, guest, and/or participants of this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Buenos Diaz Media LLC, its associates, partners, and show sponsors. The content is intended for entertainment purposes and should not be construed as professional advice. Listener discretion is advised.
Okay, so let's just jump right into this list. We have 16 habits to keep your marriage on fire, right? To keep that spark going. We're going to run down this list together. So I want you, if you identify with one, like one, have anything to say about any of them, I encourage you to drop a comment. If you are watching us on YouTube or Rumble, drop a comment. If you are listening to us either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. And to my understanding, there are some other platforms that have picked it up automatically. It's not that I have placed it there. So wherever you are listening to us, if you're listening to us on audio, and it gives you the option, which I think now on some other podcasts, I think on Spotify, you can drop a comment. Drop a comment. Comment on the topic. Comment on anything you might like or don't like. Any suggestions, we're glad to read them. But if you can't, we also invite you to follow our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We are as Grit on the Rocks. We post clips, we post stuff. I mean, you can feel free to send us a message through there. If you want to participate in one of the segments, please go to gritontheRocks.com, scroll down to our Contact Us section, and submit your message, or again, through one of our socials. Okay, so let's jump into this list, and we're going to start with number 1. This is not in specific order, it's just we number them so we can read them, but doesn't mean that this is the number 1 answer. No, this is how it's written. Okay. So number 1 is play with your spouse. I'm not saying start a Nerf gun war in your living room, though honestly, why not? I think that'd be pretty cool. But being playful isn't about being childish. It's about creating moments that lighten the mood and remind you why you fell for each other in the first place. Crack jokes, have tickle fights, or prank each other. I mean, why not? Just don't hide all the toilet paper. Trust me, that doesn't end well. So yeah, play with your spouse, man. Crack jokes. I've been known to have a bit of sarcasm, and sometimes it is misconstrued as being serious, but I love cracking jokes with my wife. I think she's funny, and she says something sometimes that is just like hilarious. So yeah, we've been married we're going on 10 years now, and I believe we're going strong. We do play with each other sometimes, not as much as before, because now we have a little one, and all the attention is in our daughter and our son, but mainly our daughter. She's the little one. But yeah, play with your spouse. Number 2. This is another one that my wife and I did more often back then than now, because we are just so busy. You know, we both work. We run a business, and, you know, we have a little one under 2. So she requires a lot of attention and work. But number 2 is take baths together. The romantic bath. Sounds dreamy, right? But let me warn you, bathtubs aren't always built for 2. Yes, that is true. Sometimes knees are going to be awkwardly positioned. Still is worth the try, right, for intimacy. Plus, you can delegate back scrubbing duty, and who doesn't love teamwork? So just skip the bubble overloads unless you're filming a rom-com. But yeah, taking baths together, I think is awesome when you just sit there. And yes, not all bathtubs are built for more than one person. So yeah, sometimes you are awkwardly positioned and sitting, and your knees are all up, but it's good because I love it when we just have conversations and we'll talk about random stuff, even plans that we might have. But again, something done more often back then than now, until our little one gets a little bit older. Number 3 is master the art of massage. You don't need to be certified as a massage therapist to give your spouse a killer shoulder rub. Sure, you might be winging it, but the effort alone gets you brownie points. Just avoid going all full like WWE and turning it into like a suplex and hurting them or making them hurt more a little. The next day they hurt more than they were before the massage. So a little oil, little care, and boom, marriage magic. So number 4 we have here is saying I love you often. Men, women, aliens. Everyone loves to hear these words. Don't assume they know, say it. But mix it up. Tell it whisper it, text it, skywrite it. Okay, maybe not the skywriting unless, you got Bezos money, but you get the point. Letting them know, saying it. In our household, we have the habit of doing it daily, multiple times a day. My wife will tell me she loves me. I will tell her I love her. I tell my son I love him. He tells us he loves us, so on and so forth. We do it daily to show appreciation for those in our household and not just necessarily waiting for special events or holidays or moments where people say their feelings. We do say it daily. We say it in text. We say it in person. So that's how we do it. Number 5, send romantic texts. Listen, a quick thinking of you, right, during the day can go a long way. And if you're feeling bold, toss in a flirty emoji. We've all used the eggplant and the okay symbol and the water splashing. You know what I mean? Just make sure that it's going to your spouse and not accidentally to a group chat, right? Because nobody wants to explain that to the family in the next family barbecue. But yes, send romantic texts. I love you. Thinking about you. Hey, how's your day? Been thinking about you all day, etc. Can't wait to get home. Stuff like that, I think, goes a long way, and it keeps that flame burning hot in a relationship. So, before we continue with this list, let's take a quick break to highlight one of our supporters, the Apex Gentlemen's Guild. This episode is brought to you by the Apex Gentlemen's Guild, the ultimate club for high-performance men who value excellence, camaraderie, and the finer things in life. Think cigars, whiskey, and making power moves while networking with the best. Head to Apex Gentlemen's Guild on Facebook because for a limited time, it is free to join. Just join the Apex Gentlemen's Guild, where excellence is forged in unity.
Looking to connect with like-minded men who share your drive for success and passion for the finer things in life? Welcome to the Apex Gentlemen's Guild, a private members club for men who value ambition, camaraderie, giving back, and personal growth. For a limited time while we're fully remote, you can join the guild for free. Gain access to tons of motivational content, exclusive events, insightful discussions, and a network of high-performance individuals. Don't miss this chance to elevate your social circle. Request to join today at facebook.com/groups/Apex Gentlemen's Guild, or give us a like at facebook.com/Apex Gentlemen's Guild. The Apex Gentlemen's Guild, excellence forged in unity.
Okay, we're back. But first, I want to invite you again to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, or listening through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. You can also find all the episodes on gritontheRocks.com. You can view or listen, where you can also send us your stories to participate in one of our show segments. You can submit your story through the Contact Us section of gritontheRocks.com. And if you're interested in sponsoring the show or one of our show segments, just go to gritontheRocks.com, scroll all the way to the bottom where it says Contact Us, and send us a message. Okay, so let's continue going down our list of 16 ways to keep the spark alive. And we are on number 6. And it says, greet him like a rom-com heroine. Heroine? Female hero, I guess. So this one says that when your husband walks in the door, don't just mumble, hey, from the couch while still watching Netflix. Meet him like you've been counting down the seconds. Smile, give him a kiss, may even throw in a dramatic hair flip. Bonus points if you help him unbutton his shirt. Just try not to look too smug about it. And this goes both ways, right? When the the man is home, like in my case, I'm usually the one that's home first. Greet your wife like you've been waiting for her all day. Give her a kiss, give her a hug. How's your day? And I have to admit, I know I've slacked a bit because, and I'm not trying to use our baby as an excuse. I'm just saying it happens. So I got to work more on this one. But yes, it feels great when you get home and your significant other waits for you and seems like they're happy. Well, not seems, right? They show that they're happy that you are home safely with them and, you're all home together, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, greet your spouse. The title here says greet him like a rom-com heroine, but just greet your spouse like they are the hero of the day and they just showed up and you're just amazed that they're home. Number 7 says surprise him with a gift. Here's the thing, guys don't get surprised with gifts enough. Why? No clue. It doesn't have to be expensive. A new pair of socks, a fancy gadget, or even his favorite snacks will do. Trust me, the man will beam like a kid at Christmas. I can see that, yeah. But again, it goes both ways. Again, like I told you guys in the beginning, this seems to have been just focused on speaking to women towards their men, but I try to keep it fair here. And it goes both ways. A relationship is a two-way street. So what is it good? What's good for the gander is good for the goose, something like that. Yeah, you know what I mean. Number 8 says, give him a goofy award. Why not create your own Husband of the Year award, print out a certificate, present it during dinner, and make a speech about why he's the best. Sure, it's cheesy, but it will make his day. And hey, if you're feeling extra, throw in a little trophy. This seems cool. I mean, my wife once gave me a Dundee for my 40th birthday, and I thought it was amazing. I still have it on my night table. So yeah, these things, like it says here, it might seem a little cheesy, but it's the thought that counts. And it's these little things, these little details that when you stop doing them, eventually everything else starts trickling and everything starts turning cold little by little, little by little, little by little, until boom, the fire is gone. So it's good to keep these things going, right? These little details, they do help. Number 9, go big for his or her birthday. Right? It says his, but I'm saying his or her. Look, birthdays matter, even if he swears they don't, which in my case, I think they do matter for the bigger significance of it. Meaning, I am grateful to be alive another year. I'm getting another year older and hopefully another year wiser. So yes, I think it matters to celebrate it that way. But it says here that organize something special, a dinner, a party, or just a quiet evening doing his favorite things. Call his friends and family too. Nothing says love like a surprise celebration that shows you care. Again, that is true. I am a simple man. So I like last year, my wife surprised me for my birthday. No, that was this year. This year, my wife surprised me for my birthday. I went to pick her up at work, and all of a sudden, she had texted me during the day hinting she wanted this specific sandwich, if I'm not mistaken. And she had a specific place where she wanted it from, which we had gone before. So it was actually a mega surprise for me because I was oblivious to what her real plan was. She had invited some of my friends. They were waiting for us at the spot. So when we got there, they were waiting for us inside, and they had a birthday cake for me, and we had dinner outside. It was March. It was a little cold, but it was still great. Like, we had a really nice time. Very simple, because that's just who I am. I mean, I like the simple things. So it was great. We had dinner, we had cake, we laughed, we joked, blah, 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 and then we went home. It was amazing. So yes, these things are very important. The sucky part is that my birthday, just like my wife's birthday, it's not usually, it's during cold months. Like she's like in the midst of winter in February, and I am when it's still cold, almost getting there to spring. But yeah, it's usually cold, so it's hard to do things outside. So we usually go around like the whole dinner scene, which I love and appreciate, and so does she. Okay, number 10. Defend your husband like a gladiator. If anyone badmouths your husband, you better be ready to throw verbal hands. Marriage is a partnership, and your loyalty is gold. Just make sure you don't go overboard and end up banned for Thanksgiving dinner. This I agree with 1,000,000%. I don't think anyone who is in a relationship, right? I mean, especially in marriage, but when you're in a serious relationship, I want to say marriage because I think marriage is the most serious relationship you can have. When you're in a serious relationship like a marriage, I don't think anyone should allow anyone else to badmouth your significant other. Unless they're a real terrible person and this person is just trying to help you. Even though that gets a little bit iffy, I try to stay away from those conversations and badmouthing someone else because at the end of the day, if things work out amongst them, you're the one who looks like an asshole because now you have said what you truly feel. But I will not allow anyone to speak ill of my wife. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be my family. It could be her family. You are not going to speak ill about my wife, and I will defend that to the end. But as her spouse, I will never speak ill about my wife to others. And that is something that we see sometimes. We see men talking about their wives. We see women talking about their husbands. And they speak ill about them and then don't want anyone else to say anything bad about them. So I just think it starts with you. You should never do it and therefore never allow it. So let's take a quick break now from this list and let's take a moment for Whiskey Bar Wisdom, where we offer some insights on your hilarious, heartfelt, and sometimes questionable emails.
Whiskey Bar Wisdom. Ooh.
All right, there's nothing magical about it. Here, drink this. Tell me what's on your mind. Come on.
Whiskey Bar Wisdom. You provide the stories, we provide the opinions, unprofessional advice and the laughter. Great on the Rocks podcast.
All right, this one comes to us through our Contact Us section of gridontherocks.com. And it comes from Kevin with no last name. I guess he's like Seal or Madonna or Prince. But they only have one name. But anyway, this comes from Kevin and he didn't put where he's from either. So I guess he wants to maintain his home anonymous. I don't know. So the title reads, Help, my romantic gesture turned into a 5-alarm disaster. Dear Grit on the Rocks, love your podcast. It's my go-to for laughs, wisdom, and occasionally a reality check. But man, do I have a story for you. So I decided to surprise my wife with a romantic bath to rekindle the spark. Picture this. Candles lit, soft music playing, bath bombs fizzing, the works. I was feeling like a regular Casanova. But then, in my infinite wisdom, I thought, what's better than a scented candle? 10 scented candles. So fast forward 5 minutes, and I'm wafting a towel at the smoke alarm, which is blaring loud enough to wake the neighbors. Turns out, I accidentally placed one candle too close to the shower curtain. And let's just say the flames of passion became a little too literal. No real damage, thankfully, except to my dignity. Now my wife calls me Fire Marshal Kevin. And anytime I try to be romantic, she asks if she needs to grab a fire extinguisher first. I've been trying to laugh it off, but I'm starting to wonder, how do I come back from this? Is my romantic reputation forever in smoke? Help me out, guys. I'm open to advice, even if it's just telling me to stick to flowers and chocolates from now on. Sincerely, Fire Marshal Kevin. P.S. If your advice involves a firefighter calendar, I'm game. Just don't tell my wife. I'm considering turning this fiasco into a theme date night. I think at the end, that's the best part you said there. I think that could be funny, turning into a theme date night where you celebrate a anniversary or whatever it is, and every anniversary you, I don't know, go around that theme of the fire. But yeah, depending on where you live, I love having candles. I never done that. The whole 10 candle, that's a little insane, especially if it's a small bathroom. Anything can happen, as you saw. So keep it simple, man. Keep it simple. And I think that's a great idea, just using it as a theme date night. Again, like an anniversary. Remember that time, and this story will follow you forever, and you will always have the remember that timeline to start. So let's go down the last 6 on the list of ways to keep the spark alive on your relationship with your significant other. Number 11 is shower him with appreciation. Men love to feel valued. It's not rocket science. Whether it's taking out the trash or working hard at his job, say thank you often and mean it. Bonus points if you bake cookies to go with the thank you. We spoke about this in a previous episode. I think appreciation goes a long way. I just don't agree with praising for simple things. It's okay to appreciate, like it says here, the trash, okay. But I mean, in reality, if we're running a household together and that's part of your job, and meaning when I say part of your job, I mean to both. Because if you're both running the household and you both have responsibilities and you both work and you both share the full responsibilities that come along with running a household, family, working, cleaning, throwing out the trash, I don't think it has to be, applauded every time you do it. Now, if it's something, like working hard at his or her job, I think that's something to appreciate. The hard work that we do, that feels good. It feels great. Even though we're supposed to do it, it's part of our responsibility. I think it feels great to be acknowledged. But sometimes people take it too far. You throw out the trash and they want to be patted on the back and hugged and thanked. And, oh, my God, you're the best because you threw out the garbage. I think that's a little too much. Number 12 is treat him like royalty. Again, it says him because that's how it's written. Let me read it first and then we'll break it down. When it's dinner time, serve him his plate like he's the king of the castle. I'm not saying you need to wear a tiara and curtsy, unless you want to, of course. But small gestures like this show you value him. Okay. Of course, I love if I sit at the dinner table and my wife asks me, would you like me to, make a plate for you? And she brings me the food and she brings me a drink and she treats me like a king. I love that. But that doesn't mean that I won't do it for her. Treat your wife like a queen. If she always does it, why don't you do it this time? Babe, would you like me to fix you up a plate? You know what? I cooked dinner today. Would you like me to serve you? And if you're going to do something, do the full job. Don't half-ass it. Don't, bring her food. Bring her utensils. Bring her water. Bring her a napkin. Make sure she's good. Just like women to men. This is not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. So yes, I would rename this one, instead of treat him like royalty, and again, I've said this before in the podcast, treat each other like royalty. Number 13 is look good for him. I'm not saying you have to be red carpet ready 24/7, but don't lose the effort. Put on something that makes you feel confident. Maybe invest in some cute lingerie or even a pair of sweats that aren't from 1998. Trust me, he notices. Again, this is another one, goes both ways. I'm not very superficial like that. Of course, I love when my wife fixes herself up, makes herself look more beautiful than she normally does. Of course, we appreciate that. Like last night, we went on a date night. She put on a beautiful dress. She dressed up very nicely. We had an amazing time. So yes, it is good. But also, that doesn't mean that you as a man, you're going to be a slob. She's all dressed up to go out and you are wearing a pair of sweatpants or a pair of shorts with stained sweaters on. Like that's not cool either. So you should try to look good for each other, but understanding that there are situations where we take a break, where we're tired, where we're exhausted. So it shouldn't be based on just, oh no, the superficial look. Oh no, I don't feel attracted to my wife anymore because she doesn't fix herself up like she's going out. I think that's just being superficial and shallow. But yeah, it is good to take time to look good for each other. And I think your spouse's opinion should be the only one that matters. If my wife says I look good in something that I'm wearing, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. If I like it and she likes it, that's all that matters to me. Number 14, support his dreams. Whatever his vision or passion, cheer him on like you're at the Super Bowl. Whether it's starting a new hobby or switching careers, be his loudest supporter. And if you can, give him a book or tool that helps him chase his goals. It's the little things. I think this is great also. I've been known to be a dreamer. And I don't mean dreamer as in the political sense where, you know what I mean. I mean dreamer as in I love to set goals. I like to dream big. And I love it. It means the world to me when my wife supports me on that, no matter how crazy it is. But in that same sense, I support my wife in her dreams. Any dreams she might have, any goals she might have, I try to push her towards it. I show her that I support her 100%, and I am with her till the end. So again, both ways, it works. I think it's great. I think it's one of the most crucial ones here because, we see how not everybody dreams. Some people are just content with what they have and they're okay. Even if they're struggling, whatever. But when you do have a person that is a dreamer or you have a couple that are dreamers, it is amazing because it feels amazing. No matter how uphill something might seem, just by hearing my wife support me, that is enough for me to just push forward and go through with it, no matter how hard it might be. And I know that I'm not the only one who feels like that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you out there that feel the same way. When you have a dream or a goal, just by knowing that your spouse supports you, gives you the strength and the courage to push forward no matter what you encounter. So yes, support each other's dream. Not just support his dreams, support each other's dreams. Number 15 is keep the bedroom spicy. Let's just say your bedroom should be less laundry storage and more romance central. Keep it tidy, keep it cozy, and keep it smelling nice. And when in doubt, candles. Just maybe not the kind, to set off alarms like we saw Kevin in the whiskey bar wisdom. Don't do that. And number 16, the last one on the list, is love even when it's hard. Sometimes your spouse is going to drive you nuts, like socks on the floor, level nuts. but love them anyway. Marriage isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up even when you'd rather roll your eyes. Keep at it. You might just find yourself falling in love all over again. I think that's, pretty much self-explanatory. And I think it's crucial. Yes, love even when it's hard. Love each other every day. And aim to fall in love every day. This is something my wife and I have talked about where, are you still in love with me? It's not only I love you, because you love your dog. You love friends. You love people. You love companionship. But it's important to stay in love with that person. So after almost 10 years, I can gladly say I am still in love with my wife. And I plan to do so until, I'm no longer here. All right, so that is the list. I think we should go to, before we wrap up the show, right? Just remember that these habits aren't about being perfect. They're about putting in the effort and having fun while you're at it. Love isn't a sprint. It is a marathon. And these are your hydration breaks along the way. So before we wrap up the show, let's do our hero of the day. And this one is a little different. Actually, it's a first for the show. It was submitted through our Contact Us section at gritoftherocks.com. But it actually comes from a wife speaking about her husband, which I thought was pretty cool. We've never had that. So let's jump into our hero of the day.
You're listening to Grit on the Rocks podcast, and it's time for Hero of the Day, the segment where we celebrate everyday acts of kindness and the unsung heroes among us. Whether it's lending a helping hand, going the extra mile for someone in need, or making a positive impact in your community, we're here to honor your good deeds. Each week we share an inspiring story from our listeners and recognize the hero behind it. So sit back, get inspired, and let's raise a glass to the heroes who make the world a better place.
All right. So this one is titled, Heroes Don't Wear Capes, They Wear Soccer Cleats. And it says, Dear Grit on the Rocks, first off, I have to start by saying that even though your show seems to be geared towards men, I enjoy your show as a woman. In fact, my husband first introduced me to it, and ever since then, I don't miss a show. I even listen to the Friday Fuma shows. I don't personally smoke cigars, but my husband does. And to be honest, your show gives us a lot of conversation starters, so thank you for that. Anyway, I wanted to take a moment to shine a spotlight on someone who embodies what it means to be a true hero in everyday life. My husband. I hope this makes the show, so here it goes. He works 2 jobs, which is already a huge sacrifice, but somehow he still manages to find the time and energy to coach our son's soccer team. It's not just about the soccer, though. He's teaching our son and all the kids on the team what it means to be dependable, encouraging, and a positive role model. But the reason I'm writing is what he did on his 1 day off last week. I expected him to sleep in, maybe relax on the couch, but instead he surprised me. He recreated our very first date. He took me back to the same diner where we met and even put together a playlist of all the songs we used to listen to when we first started dating. The way he remembered all those little details brought tears to my eyes. He doesn't have to do these things. Life is busy, and we all get caught up in the grind. But he always finds a way to remind me that I'm loved and that our relationship matters. So to my husband, you're my hero. Thank you for showing up every day for our family and for me. You make life brighter, and I don't tell you that enough. Sincerely, Jessica from Portland, Oregon. Assuming it's Oregon is OR. P.S. I hope this inspires someone listening to take a moment and show appreciation for the heroes in their lives, big or small. It's those little acts of love that make all the difference. All right, so that was our hero of the day. Like I said, that's a first. Thought it was pretty awesome. So Jessica's husband, she doesn't put a name, but we salute you here at Grit on the Rocks, and we raise I have a coffee mug here, but we raise a glass to you, sir, as our hero of the day for this week's episode. So that concludes our show for today. Remember that marriage isn't perfect, and it's not supposed to be. It is messy. It's funny, sometimes a little awkward, but it's also the most rewarding partnership you'll ever have. Whether you're giving your spouse a surprise gift or just saying, I love you after a long day, remember, it's the little things that make a big difference. Thanks for tuning in to Grit on the Rocks. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode. Yep, share. And tell your spouse that you love them. Cheers to keeping the spark alive, one laugh at a time. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, keep your spirits high, your cigars lit, and your glasses full, and your conversations meaningful. This is Grit on the Rocks podcast, a Buenos Diaz media production. Cheers.
Grit on the rocks tonight, men with hearts like iron bars, tackling life's endless fight, scars becoming stars, diving deep into the void, working dreams like candy, family bonds sometimes destroyed, like they always handy. Real men, real issues here, facing fears like storms at sea. Truth is all we hold dear, weakness set free. Help a battle we all share, fitness built with grit and sweat. Life ain't always fair, don't you dare forget. Challenges rise like mountains tall, through the haze we crawl alone, echoes in